Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday the 11th of October. It is 9:30 AM my local time, and it's time to go over the markets again. So as always, we're going to start on EURGBP. We've had a little bit of movement. It looks like we're still moving downwards. We've created a lower high here, and I think GBP is going to be getting bought over this week probably, so we might see some more downside movement in EURGBP, which would be good because we could look to be getting a buy on around this demand zone area, or possibly further down if price fills these imbalances down here. That does look like a bit of an extreme head and shoulders. So we could come back down here to the demand zone and possibly get a buy on in the trend to be filling back up. But we'll have to wait and see. I am scalping GJ this week, so I'm buying today. I've done a bit of buying this morning in Asian session. So yeah, I can see GBP getting bought possibly for the remainder of this week, and we could see price fall back down to the demand zone, and then we could look to get a buyback on EURGBP because we did miss this big move previously. So yeah, so that's what to look out for on EURGBP. If you did want to intraday sell it, you could go down to lower time frames, 4 hour, 1 hour. If you're confident in taking trades on a lower time frame, we could possibly get some sell scalps down to the demand zone. But long term, that's what we're looking for: a price to fall back into the demand zone, confluence with the trend line, and to buy it back up. So with that pair done, we'll move to GBPJPY. This is my favourite pair. As I was saying, I've been doing a little buying this morning. You can see price, it fell back, and we had a couple of 50% candles back to back. And it looked like the bottom formed yesterday, and today it started to move upwards. So we could see price either form a lower high here or revisit the supply zones at the top of the resistance. Ideally, that would be my ideal trade if price came right back up to this resistance zone here at 166.8 or the supply zone, and then we could get a nice sell on. Depending if it didn't break, of course. But yeah, it looks like the bottom formed yesterday on GJ intraday, and we could either see a pullback here and a lower high made and then move further down, or we could this could be a higher low, and then we could break above this high and visit the resistance in the supply zone above. So yeah, so we're going to have to, as I say, same as EURGBP, watch over the next few days and this week to see what price does, and then we can trade accordingly from there. Yeah, so with that pair covered, we will move to EURAUD. Now we've had some big movement on this pair, and as you can see now, price has filled that first imbalance when we had that huge move down back in February, March. There's another imbalance just above it, so it wouldn't surprise me if price does fill that. Yeah, I mean, ideally I'd like to get to this supply zone at the top here at 156, and then we could get a sell on. I think this is demand zone, 50% candle here is created. Or if price falls back to this demand zone, we could get a buy on up to the supply zone. Let me just send this to the back. As price didn't come back to this demand zone that was broken through the trend line, it's just kept on pushing and pushing. I'll be honest, I haven't been watching this pair much, but it's nice to check back in on it and see these imbalances filled. As you can see, there's a big W formation being formed, so it's highly likely that we're going to fill this imbalance possibly this week. And as I say, I'd like to get this to this supply zone, and we could stick a sell on here. Right at this supply zone. Obviously that would be the first target back down to that demand zone. I mean, that's 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, so it's not a bad target to aim for. So yeah, first imbalance has been filled. Looking to fill this second imbalance possibly this week, I'd imagine, over the next day or two, possibly even today, because we get some big movement in London session. And then we can look to see if price stalls at this supply zone and get a sell on. So that'll be my trade to look for in EURAUD. So with that pair covered, we'll move to the pound US dollar, and I'm still holding this trade from the bottom. As I said, we moved up and we've had some good profits. Price has since fallen back, and then, as I say, similar to GJ and EURGBP, it looks like the pound is making a pullback this week now. It's the same on the other pairs. Is this going to be a higher low, and then we're going to break this high to make a higher high? That would be ideal for our trades. So again, we're just going to have to wait and see. If you did follow me in this one, just keep holding for now. As I said, we've settled, and we're around about 1-to-1 here, where we're making this higher low. So we're just going to keep holding for now and keep watching what happens this week with the pound. And then obviously we can adjust accordingly. So yeah, if you followed me in this one, just keep holding for now, and I'll update again at the end of the week, possibly next week. So with that perm done, we'll move to EURUSD. Again, this is pretty much similar to the pound. We went up in price, we've pulled back. Obviously it's all dependent on what the dollar's doing. Let me move this zone to the back so you can see. There we go. Yeah, hopefully this is a higher low that's going to be created, and then we're going to see a push up to break the previous high. But for me to jump in on this EURUSD, I'd like to see pretty much the same as what I said last time out. Yeah, so structure's forming, but as I say, we need to break this previous high made, break the trend, and then on the next higher low we can look to get a buy in on EURUSD. If you're not already trading it from the bottom here, which I'm not, because I'm in GU, and I'm obviously looking at other pairs and trading GJ intraday as well. So yeah, I'd like to get on the next lower high, possibly once the trend is broken for EURUSD for me. So with that pair covered, we will move to gold. And as we can see, price has dropped back. There's a zone here. There's a demand zone there. That'd be a nice buy actually. If we could see price drop back a little bit more, and we could visit this support zone here. As you can see, there's a lot of this area here. There's a lot of support, so even right at this zone will not be a bad place to buy. We came up to this resistance zone, and as you can see, it held, and then it dropped price back. The break of the trend didn't hold, and we've dropped right back through. But these zones are not a bad zone to buy at. If price does come a bit further down and visit this demand zone this week, then I'll look to get a buy on for gold, and we're looking to ride it up. So I'll delete those because it didn't come as funds. As you can see, that resistance zone held quite well. So yeah, gold, I'd like to see it drop back over the next couple of days to this demand zone, get the buy on, and then hopefully we can ride that up for the next few weeks. That'd be an ideal situation. But as I can say, we'll just watch price over the next couple of days to see what happens, because it looks like it could possibly turn from this support zone here at 1665. So yeah, let's keep a watch over the next few days. So with that pair covered, we'll just have a quick look at DXY, the dollar. As you can see, previously price visited the supply zone and we had a significant drop back. Now if we just measure the drop back that it had, so it's 4,686 points. It was quite a quick drop, and if we just measure this previous drop that it had, that was only 4,648, so just over the previous drop, but in much shorter time frame. So it looks like the markets are going to be deciding pretty soon what's happening with the dollar. You know, whether it's going to continue in this bullish run that it's been on, or whether we're going to see a drop back in price. This week and next week is probably going to be vital, because if you're looking at the daily candles now, it's running out of steam, and it looks like we could be possibly making a lower high here, and then obviously drop back. Let's turn that extension off. Sorry. Yeah, it looks like we could possibly be making a lower high here, and then obviously that'd be great across the board for all the pairs that we're trading. Pound against the dollar, the gold that we'd like to buy, and then we could see a bit more of a drop back on the dollar, and then possibly break this trend and start penetrating down into these demand zones a bit further down. That'll be ideal. Whether it'll happen, we're not too sure. Well, as I say, we'll have to watch over this week and next week to see what happens with price, but it does look like it's running out of steam, and today's candle is currently small but still bullish. But as I say, you can see the steam has run out of these previous candles, and yeah, let's hope for a lower high to be made here, and then we can see a further drop back in price. So with that pair covered, we'll go on to Bitcoin. And we're still hovering around this 19,000 zone. It did look like we had a breakout trend, but it's dropped back since. But again, there's no real significant movement below this demand zone that we've created. We still even haven't visited the previous low. That does look like a market turning zone for me. As you can see, price has still not visited that level since we made it, 17,600. So as long as we stay in this demand zone, I'm happy for now. Because as I say, if the dollar does start to fall, and then we will see a push up in price. So yeah, buying from this zone from Bitcoin, still holding. So if you follow me on that one, just keep holding for now. Whether or not where you bought in, I bought in higher. I did close it because swaps were building up and obviously nothing was really happening, and I reopened again round about the same price. If you open up a trade here, it's even lower than mine, so you know you can get a tighter stop loss on if you were to open up here today. So yeah, anywhere around this demand zone is not a bad shout, because we're looking for the long swing on Bitcoin, especially because we're waiting for that upturn to happen. But something tells me over the next few weeks it should come. But yeah, let's wait and see. So there's not much point going over Ethereum really. It's pretty much similar to Bitcoin. As I say, we're nowhere near the low that was made on the first initial drop, whereas we are on Bitcoin, we're right near the bottom. So it's still looking quite strong for me, Ethereum. And if we have a look at XRP, that's had a good push up. Let's remove these. Yeah, we had a good push up on Ethereum. We've got a nice trend created there. So yeah, it's respecting trend so far, and obviously it's a lot more bullish than the other pairs, Ethereum and Bitcoin, that we've been looking at. So yeah, all's looking well really. As long as you don't start breaking the demand zones on Bitcoin, then I'm going to be happy to hold continuously. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week, everybody. Not much going on really. We're just waiting for price action to form this week on a few pairs. We're still holding the gold. We're still holding the pound, against the US dollar. Still holding Bitcoin longs at from this demand zone. And yeah, looking for some action on the pound so we can get in on other pairs like EURGBP. Yeah, so that's it for this week, and I'll see you again next week. Cheers everyone, take care.